Hello and welcome to the Unnamed Automotive Podcast. It's me, Sami. I'm back. And with me, as always, is my good friend and fellow automotive journalist, Benjamin Hunting. Say hi to the people, Ben.
Sami, I'm happy to have you back. It's just funny that you act like being gone for one episode is like...
It's a huge thing.
I know. Well, that wasn't the huge thing. The huge thing is what happened while you were gone.
Yeah, you had a wicked episode with Chad about the Rivian and Diesel. You guys talked about Diesel for a lot longer than you would have, than I would have expected.
Definitely our Diesel talk is the most interesting thing that's happened over the past week.
And you guys talked about Alaska for a lot, too.
For those who are familiar, Sami's family is 1 unit bigger now.
1 unit, one particular unit bigger. We welcomed a new baby to our family. They are doing okay. Mom is also doing okay. Thank you, anybody who sent the messages. I really appreciate that. It makes me feel like we have a little family of our own of listeners. And
yes, thank you very much for that. It is very kind. It is a big deal. Being a father for the second time, something I can't relate to whatsoever, but it did seem like it was stressing you out. And I feel like having talked to you today, you've realized that it's not as stressful as perhaps it would, as perhaps it was in your mind. And like, that's great.
I think the reality is having a toddler, in addition to a newborn, does not give you the opportunity to think rationally for a moment, to really worry about anything. You just have to solve the problems that your toddler is causing.
But that toddler is like right on the verge of being able to babysit and make dinner and like get a part-time job and help out around the house.
Okay, I'll be blunt. My toddler rules. He's so much fun. He just hates washing his hands and wants to touch the baby in all of its stuff all the time. It just drives me nuts. And he's going through some sort of sleep thing where he has every reason in the world to not go to sleep. And he always has these really interesting things to tell me. I believe yesterday he told me in a month, I, as in me, Sami, will not exist.
Wow, that's not off-putting. Did he do that while he was sleeping or was he awake? And which one would be scarier?
He did that while he was awake.
Okay.
I was like, okay, buddy, I hope so, because then I won't have to deal with this. But I didn't mean it, of course.
Hey, that's a good point. If you don't exist in a month, then it doesn't matter, right? Like,
that's right. All right. In that case, let's stay up late.
Everything is permitted with that when you have a definite timetable.
He's a good kid. I just think he's going through this whole experience of who is this new person and why is my mom and dad spending so much time with them when I want to be doing everything I want to do.
The good thing is you can all spend time together, right? Like baby doesn't exclude your toddler from being around.
I guess so, but it puts at least one of us a little bit more immobile when it comes to like feeding the baby. And that's when our toddler is very much interested in wanting to do things. So my toddler's already tried to climb into the bassinet, has taste tested all of the pacifiers. That was horrifying to my wife.
I'm an older sibling as well, and
what did you do?
I have no memory of like what it was like when my sister came home, or what I was like when my sister came home. Like none. Mm-hmm. I don't have a lot. Like my earliest memory, this is really going far from cars here.
I know. I'm sorry.
My earliest memory is of a dream I had when I think I was 3 years old. And and it was very loosely tied to reality. And I just don't have a lot of like, I don't know, pre-kindergarten memories, I guess.
My sister, I'm also the youngest in my family. I have an older sister, and she basically told me that it was cool when I showed up. She's much older. And
what's much older?
She was 6 years older than me.
Okay, that is a pretty big gap. I was only 2 years older.
Said, "Oh yeah, I was a huge mistake." My parents tell me this all the time. And she was like, "It was cool. You got to be like my grandma's little crony. You were like her little minion, and I got to do whatever I wanted. It was great."
Nice. So you're like you're like a behavioral smokescreen for your sister.
Exactly. I was a smokescreen. It was perfect. Okay, this week we've got some cars to talk about, including one that maybe the majority of our listeners might not know about or have heard about and might not even get. Is that a weird thing to start the show off with? Here's some irrelevant content to you.
I mean, I think this car is relevant for the same reason the other car that's almost identical to it was relevant when we discussed it a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Because I think it points towards the future of where a slice of the market is going. And I think we're not going to get into it too much on this episode because we did the first time we talked about this model's sister vehicle.
I love how we always try to keep the car name as far away from the introduction as possible.
You got to build the suspense. But
Yeah.
the main story of this vehicle is the microcosm of where the American auto industry is right now and the dangerous places it's taking that industry because of the decisions that are being made about what types of vehicles are available in the United States. And so we're talking today, this isn't the only vehicle we're talking about today, but we're starting off with the Kia EV5. For those of you who are American and are familiar with Kia's electric lineup, they have the EV6, which has been around for quite a long time. The EV6 GT, I believe, is no longer on sale in the United States due to tariffs. I think that model was assembled in Korea. I want to say the regular EV6 is assembled in the US, so it's still there. Similar things happened with the Ioniqs from Hyundai, which are eGMP platform vehicles as well, sharing the same basic architecture. The EV5
that's what we're talking about today.
Yes, structurally the same as the EV4, which we talked about a couple months ago. Both of these cars were intended for the US market initially. However, tariffs and a softening of the US EV appetite, which is largely tied into, the disappearance of rebates and whatnot, have taken those cars off the menu. They're not available in America right now. I think this is a problem because both of them are really good. And I think they would be perfect for the American market. I really liked the EV4 when we talked about it. Sammy, you liked it too?
EV4 shocked me. I didn't think...
You hated it because of how it looked, and you made fun of me for liking it.
It looks awful in pictures. I think the proportions, they grow on you when you see it in person. And I think when you sit behind the wheels, the EV4 has these kind of haunches by the wheel arches.
Because there's a hatchback and a sedan, right? And you're talking about the sedan.
For the EV4?
Yeah.
Is there an EV4 hatchback?
I don't think we have it in our market.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I do believe that body shape is available elsewhere.
Right.
Both of these vehicles available in Canada, obviously Korea, Europe, and I think Australia. I know we have a good, strong Australian listener base. So if anyone can confirm or deny that they're on sale there right now, that would be cool.
It's interesting to me that the Mexican market will not get the EV5.
I don't know what the Mexican market is like for electric vehicles.
I don't know anything about the Mexican market.
I know they have a fairly strong penetration of Chinese vehicles. So it's possible that Kia and Hyundai didn't want to compete against them or didn't see it as being profitable. I'm just making that up. I don't know if that's true, but that could be the reason. But the EV4 could be an acquired taste. Not a lot of people buy sedans these days. Not a lot of people even buy hatchbacks. So it was nice that car exists. I liked it. It was extremely efficient because it's smaller, lighter, and more efficient aerodynamically. But the EV5 takes that same platform and makes it an SUV, and it makes it a blocky SUV. Like, this is not some kind of blob. This is very much in the same school as, say, a Defender, or maybe like a more upright Blazer, or maybe a Bronco Sport. Like,
You're
it does
crazy. Really?
It looks chunky in person.
I just see a Sorento, I think.
Well, maybe a Sorento is also chunky. I'm not talking about the Sorento, but in any case, it is the volume selling version of this platform. This is what most people are going to shop for. And I think it is extremely successful.
Yeah, basically think of something that sits below the EV6. And you've got this, right? Like,
and more than that, conceptually, it's different from the EV6 because the EV6 is eGMP, which is an 800 volt platform. It has high performance versions. It has extremely quick charge times. The EV5 and the EV4 are on 400 volt platforms that are more affordable for Hyundai to produce and Kia to produce. So they're able to sell at a lower price point. In Canada, I believe this vehicle starts at 43,000. And it goes up to 62 for the highest model. I don't think you can get an Ioniq 5 for 40 grand, Sammy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, in Canada.
I'm pretty sure the EV6 starts at just under 50 or around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So this is fairly substantial savings. It's still not the cheapest EV you can get. I believe like a Kona is right around here. I
Mhm.
believe that a Leaf is cheaper. Bolt is obviously cheaper, but they're different. Like a Leaf and a Bolt are much smaller than this vehicle. This is a true compact, whereas I would call a Bolt and a Leaf a subcompact
Okay.
from a footprint perspective. So this is like, it's intriguing to me because it's in between in terms of pricing, it's in between in terms of size and capabilities. But don't let that fool you to think that, okay, it's a lower featured version of EGMP. No, it's actually a specifically engineered for this segment of the market vehicle. It's not like they just cut some corners and said, here's a cheaper EV. It's like, what would a compact EV look like in a world where, let's say, everyone's driving EVs? You know,
Right.
where I'm not comparing this against a gas vehicle, where it's just the natural progression in the lineup. And as a result, it has good power. It has the availability of all-wheel drive, which you can't get in the EV4 sedan or hatchback. And it has like 500 plus kilometers of range around, according to the driving information that I got while I was driving it. That's really, really decent. 500.
That's like almost 350, right?
Yeah, I would say probably real world, you're looking at over 300 for sure.
So good. I like that a lot. Now, tell me about this horsepower figure, because I'm looking at like multiple different configurations of it. Do we only get one battery size, which is like 80 kilowatt hour, 81 kilowatt hours?
That question I don't know, because there's the base 60 kilowatt hour unit, right?
Okay.
I drove a front wheel drive model, so that's 215 horsepower and 218 pound feet of torque. All wheel drive is not much more. It's 261 and 248.
Okay.
Obviously, all-wheel drive models all come with the big battery. I'm on the Kia website. This vehicle just arrived. So I think that I'm double checking, because the entry-level trim, which is 45.7 once you include delivery, still pretty decent. It does come with that 60 kilowatt hour battery. However, I think it is the only version that comes with the 60 kilowatt. Yeah. The next trim up is called Wind, and then it's Wind, Land, GT Line Limited, GT all-wheel drive, and those versions all have the larger battery.
Okay. Which is, I mean, like, let's talk about that horsepower figure. 215, not that bad. Really comparable to a compact car. 260, I think you said 260 for the all-wheel drive model.
248. Let me double check.
Is comparable to
284, 284. And
holy moly.
That's for all-wheel drive. 261 horsepower, 284 pound-feet.
Okay. That's comparable to something like a really like a higher end sort of compact crossover, I suppose. Like a more powerful, let's say the plug-in hybrid version of the Sportage, for example. Is that like a parallel? I
think that's a good combo. I mean, if you looked at, say, the plug-in hybrid version of the RAV4, it would that's outperforms this.
Because it has 300 horsepower, right?
Yeah, and I think more torque.
Okay, that's interesting. Wow.
So the GT line that I drove, I'm just double checking the official performance for the range, and it's rated at 457. So I was seeing in the range estimator more than 80 kilometers past that.
More, yeah.
And that was just like normal driving. I didn't baby it. I didn't do anything special. I
loved this about the EV4.
The EV4 was incredible in terms of
driving it. I thought something was wrong for a long time, because I was like, is this really what the range of the car is? Is it not like recognizing that we're moving? I've driven around for like 2 or 3 days, and it's not really going down that much. But then, of course, when you charged it, you're like, okay, it actually is just taking that much juice to do everything. Their combination, their powertrain and their management of their battery seemed really either efficient or clever.
And should we be surprised by that? I mean, Hyundai has really just overperformed when it comes to electric vehicles.
That's true. I am surprised. I am really surprised, because I see other automakers, and I know that, Toyota and Subaru, which are the last EVs that I drove recently, are not exactly the most experienced when it comes to EVs themselves, but have experience with electrification and hybrid powertrains, which is a whole different ballgame, of course.
Yeah.
but struggled for me in the weather conditions and the driving conditions that I had to that I went through. And I'm talking specifically about the Trail Seeker I drove a few weeks ago, and I had a really difficult time meeting anywhere near the estimated.
Yeah, I'm going to be
range.
talking about that next week, and we'll definitely have some conversation about that specific aspect of this vehicle.
I'm learning from other journalists that it might have a lot to do with its highway efficiency of that specific.
But still, model. Like, why should we make an exception for this model? I
agree.
When, like, it seems odd.
When I drove that EV4, I drove it on the highway all the time, and it didn't really like suffer. I don't understand why.
No, and you know what's cool about this EV5 is, I mean, the EV4 had really great aero. Because of the shape of the vehicle. The EV5 doesn't have that advantage, and it's still quite efficient.
Yeah, and I would prefer, I think everyone might prefer the exterior design of the EV5 over the EV4.
I find it quite handsome.
I think it's a more like mainstream look, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing about it that is odd or like necessarily electric about it. Like, if you look at an EV6, it does have kind of a squash station wagon feel. It does seem a bit electrified. This vehicle, you could park it beside a Bronco Sport, I think. And the only thing that would really give it away is probably the lighting at the front, which is more EV-esque than what you would see in a Bronco, because Bronco has more of a retro feel. That horsepower that I was quoting before, it's not a lot, right? But I never felt like I didn't have enough power in this vehicle, which is a testament to how the power is delivered. Also, I did not experience torque steer with it, which is nice.
Despite having a front wheel drive, really torque heavy power.
Well, it wasn't even torque heavy. It was 218 pound-feet. I think that is maybe a decision that they made specifically to preserve the drivability of this vehicle while also eking out really good range, while also giving you enough power to enjoy it. Like, this is an excellent daily driver. This is a car that most people can afford, and that is going to tick all the boxes. Decent sized back seat, reasonable cargo space. It's costs less than the average price of a brand new car in Canada, considerably less.
Yep.
Even the model that I drove, the GT line, $57,798. That is $3,000 or $2,000 less than the average price in Canada for any vehicle. So,
let alone an EV, which are typically more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. And
no, go
on.
I still want to make sure that we understand the positioning of this vehicle. Last week you and Chad talked about the Rivian R2. And the R2, that the way that Chad kept talking about it is it's kind of like a RAV4. It's just like it's like this anybody kind of car. Anybody should be able to appreciate this car.
But premium-esque, right?
Like, so more on the premium side of things.
Well, the thing to remember,
is this the more mainstream parallel simile?
I don't think so, because R2 pricing is the same as Canadian pricing, but in US dollars.
Yeah.
So, like, you're spending I think it's 45 US to get in on an R2. That's, the exchange rate right now is close to 40%. So there's quite a big difference there. I also think that the R2 is designed with a rear-wheel drive platform, and with much more performance in mind. This is what I would like to think that, like, where we should be with every similar sized EV at this point in time. This feels like a good evolution where we started with, say, the Bolt in the 2010s, and then we get to
you're talking like the mainstream.
Yeah, like a good affordable mainstream option. Like, it's,
and
the Blazer is fine from Chevrolet, which I guess would be their version of this, although
not
maybe
the
a bit.
Equinox.
That's the thing. The Blazer and Equinox are a very weird pairing.
Equinox cuts a few corners for my liking.
And it drives a lot bigger than you think it is.
Yeah.
It feels larger from behind the wheel.
Which is weird, because when I drove the Optic, which is based on the Equinox, I liked that a lot.
The Optic is very good. And it speaks to how I think Cadillac has taken more of a focus on EVs in the General Motors portfolio. If you look at their lineup, they have so many electric vehicles now, and they've had them for longer than most of their in-house competition. And I think they've really understood how to tune those platforms to represent what they want for the brand. I think better than what Chevrolet has.
I think the ability to include some important features like Magna Ride or adaptive cruise or adaptive suspension or air suspension. They can include that kind of equipment on a Cadillac, really changes the performance and comfort level of those cars, which I don't feel that comfortable. Like the Chevy EVs are good, but they're not great to drive because of their weight, I think.
So it's funny you should bring up suspension, because I do want to get to the parts of the vehicle I did not like. Okay. And the suspension is the single worst part of this vehicle.
Is this EV9 levels of bad suspension? Because I remember you really having a difficult time with the EV9. It's close
to that. And the EV9 I drove was GT line. Yeah. This vehicle is also GT line. I don't think Kia understands how to put together an EV suspension that is sporty feeling without it being far too sprung. This vehicle
bounced.
Changing lanes in this vehicle while passing was not comfortable. I was worried.
No way.
It really felt, I'm not going to say tippy, but it felt like the whole vehicle was moving on me. It did not feel like a well-controlled experience. I think the vehicle is just too tightly sprung. And as a result, if you like run into some ruts on the road or some rough pavement, it bounces, and it bounces to a degree where it's uncomfortable. In the EV9, the issue I had was if I hit bumps or expansion joints on the highway, the rear end physically moved around on me.
Yeah.
In a way I've never experienced.
It felt like a torsion beam suspension.
No. It felt like the worst suspension I've ever driven in a modern SUV. I've never had that experience before. I think that the EV5 has dialed that down in GT trim, but like it doesn't feel settled. And there are times where I would change direction in the vehicle and it felt like the rest of the vehicle was catching up to what the suspension was doing. It's not a credible performance experience. If you're not going to offer that, leave it alone. Like, I just want to drive the normal version of this. It's my single biggest complaint about the vehicle. I would not buy a GT line version. And that's unfortunate because, it has certain level of equipment and has a certain type of styling that looks good. In my opinion, it's not worth it. They need to figure this out. And until they do, I don't think these models should be in the portfolio, because if you test drove this, I think it could turn you off from the EV5. And I haven't driven the other versions. I want to believe they're better.
Yeah.
Because the EV6, they knew how to tune that, So like, there's got to be, I don't hear other people complaining about other non-GT line versions of Kia Electrics. The other issue I had was there's just some dumb stuff with the locking system. Like, I'll give you an example.
What do you mean by locking system?
So
like door locks?
Yeah. I was dropping something off at a thrift
I love
shop.
these stories. These are real. This is real usability reports. Like, this is nonsense. I love it when these things expose themselves.
I have something on the passenger seat. It's too big for me to bring across the steering wheel, right? So the car's in park. It's still running, whatever that means for an EV. It's still on, quote unquote. I opened the driver's door. I go over to the passenger door. Passenger door is locked. I can't open it. Keep in mind, driver's door is open. It is physically open.
Yeah, I have you've got like a child lock, but for the passenger.
Yeah. I have the remote in my hand. I try to unlock it. The car will not unlock. I'm assuming because it's running. Mm-hmm. So I'm standing there like an idiot beside this door I can't open. I have to walk around the car again.
And you were feeling so embarrassed this car was making you look ridiculous at the thrift shop.
I have to go around the car
and keep your cool there, or else people are like, ugh.
I push the physical button on the door, pops the lock, walk around again. That's just dumb. Like, why can't I? If you're not going to let me use the buttons on the fob, allow my proximity to the door to pop the door handle. Again, these are hidden door handles. So like, So like the door handle's not out. Nothing's happening. It's annoying.
Soon to be illegal door handles. Am I wrong? Aren't they supposed to be changing them?
Here's an idea. Just let me into your car. Like,
I think you saying that exposes why they do that. I think I have this insane, like, terrifying belief that when I'm going to go drop my kid off at, like, let's say daycare, like, I don't know, my kids aren't like old enough to leave the car now on their own. But you drop off your kid for school, you put it into park, all the doors unlock, and then somebody comes and snatches them away.
No, Sammy, the driver's door is wide open. It's not just unlocked, it's wide open. I think in that use case, the car should figure out that maybe we're not going anywhere, and then it's okay to let me into the other side of the car.
I'm looking at this cabin.
It's nice.
What is this interface? What is happening?
It's the same screen that you get in the EV4. My one complaint there is it's one of those screens that goes, it's like one continuous screen for the gauge cluster and the
Yeah.
infotainment. In the center, they use the section for climate control, and it's blocked by the steering wheel. You
Okay.
can't visually see it without moving your head around. That's annoying. That's
That's
bad
what's
UI.
happening.
It's not, you can get around it, but you shouldn't have to, right? Like
Mhm.
we figured out putting the controls for the HVAC below the infotainment. We figured that out like, I don't know, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 60
I
years
want an
ago.
automaker to put it above the infotainment system, see what happens.
I have a story for you about that. So like 10 years ago, maybe more, I'm in a Bolt and I'm stuck in a snowbank. And for those of you who have ever been in an EV that's stuck in a snowbank, early systems, they basically just cut all the power.
Yeah, they don't like the wheel spinning anywhere.
Yeah,
like,
later systems are a lot better, but the early systems weren't very granular. It was basically an on-off switch. So I was trying to figure, and like when I say stuck in a snowbank, I just basically parked somewhere and I couldn't get out. And it was wintertime. So I'm trying to find the button to turn off the traction control. I'm looking everywhere. I'm looking on screens. I'm looking on the dash, under the dash, console, all the places where you would expect it, right? Nothing. So finally, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I call OnStar. And there's an
Yeah.
OnStar button on the ceiling, right? You push OnStar.
Yeah.
OnStar comes on. They're like, how can we help you? I'm like, hey, I can't turn off the traction control and I'm stuck. And they're like, okay, I don't know how to do that either. I'm going to like, I'm going to try and find someone here who does. Can you hold?
Can't do it remotely?
No.
That would be
It was
so
like
sick if they
2014 or
could.
2013 or something.
Oh no.
We didn't have the technology. It was all 1G. So like I'm waiting and I'm looking up at the OnStar button, right? And my eyes like kind of drift over, and just beside the OnStar button is the traction control button. Why is it on the roof? That's crazy.
I love it. That's where it should be. I
That is
love
a crazy
that.
place to put that button.
Brilliant. Can you tell me more about this insane amount of controls on the steering wheel? Does this look as confusing as it is?
It's fine. It's normal. Don't worry about it.
The drive mode is in the center spoke of the steering wheel.
Yeah, that was hidden on me for a while. I was like, oh, how refreshing, an
surprised.
EV without drive modes. And then I'm like, oh, there it is. The thing I don't like about that, it's another visibility thing.
Yeah.
And this isn't just a problem with this vehicle. It's a Kia thing, basically. And I believe Hyundai now, too. The stock for the transmission and the on button are integrated
the transmission
together.
in quotations, the gear selector.
The gear selector, it's like a knob that you twist at the end of a stock. And then on that same stock towards the center of the steering column is the on-off button.
It's ugly. It's not
ugly.
pretty the way they put that button there.
It's blocked off by the spokes of the steering wheel, so it's awkward to get to. Also, anyone who remembers the 80s when GM had that like multi-switch that did everything in your car, like it was like wipers, it was turn signals, and it was lights all together, so they didn't have to spend money on making like another stock. This is similar to that in terms of clunkiness.
Okay.
I know some people love the multi-stock. I always hated it. I thought it was dumb. Cruise control was on that too sometimes.
Okay, so you're telling me the cabin is nice, the space is nice inside? Did you fold
it's
down
good.
the rear seats?
It's
Did you
good.
haul all those vinyls or laser discs?
I slept the night in there. I pitched a tent. I did everything. Whatever you ask, I did it.
It's big.
It's not big, but it's fine.
The headroom is nice?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. No
so
complaints.
they got to figure out this locking system, and they've got to deal with the suspension.
The suspension is a big issue. Look at the wind trim or the land trim. Regardless of their kind of silly names, they are probably a safer bet for you from a comfort perspective. Overall, though, I recommend this car. I think people should be getting into it. I think this is a car that tons of Americans would love, and that tons of Canadians are going to love. This is, I'm happy that like we're seeing these cars. These are like probably very low profit margin cars for Kia. But they're bringing them out. They're dedicated to doing this, and they're not cutting corners on it. They're giving you a decent car at a respectable price. And I think that that's something a lot of the industry has forgotten how to do.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to you about a car like that in a minute. But
all right. So yeah, let's get to that.
No. 1 second. NACS port?
Yes, unfortunately.
You used the adapter.
I used the adapter.
It makes me feel like the first time we had iPhones and they had those dongles. Everyone had dongles for everything. It was
I never used an iPhone.
Dongles. So we just had dongles all the time. Dongles. Now we don't. Now we have Bluetooth.
It's annoying.
Um,
Sometimes the rain gets into the dongles too, which is something I think they didn't plan on.
oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Ouch. Okay, cool. Um, Lobby your government to get an EV5 on the road?
Yeah, start a letter writing campaign, reach out to your senator. These are worth it. This is where
Good
the
luck.
industry is headed, and participating in that benefits everybody, I think.
Are you sure it's not with Ford and the Fathom?
Oh my goodness, are we really going to talk about that?
No, that's I just name dropped it. That's all we're gonna do.
Ford Fathom 500. Think about that. We'll
Yeah,
talk
I
about
was
it next
thinking.
week.
I was thinking they're doing this F thing again, right?
Ford Fathom Freestyle 500
Flex.
Flex.
Beautiful. I drove very briefly a 2026 Honda Civic Sport Hybrid Touring sedan.
That's a lot of
That's
that's
all
a
I
lot of
got.
words.
That's all I got to tell you. Can I tell you that this is actually the warmest hug in a compact car that exists on the market today? It is a very good car at everything it does. It is exceptionally well performing in my opinion. It gets up to speed really quickly. It is really good on gas. It looks good. It has space for a rear-facing car seat. It has a really sizable trunk. It has all the technology I've ever wanted in a car for this size.
What does that mean? All the technology.
It has Android Auto. It has Apple CarPlay. It has a couple of apps or like display screens. Like it lets me know how the hybrid powertrain is working when I'm in motion. I also really appreciate the two customizable sections on the gauge cluster, which is really nice. You can customize both the left and right section. Not a lot of automakers allow you that much like versatility. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they just give you like one tiny little section. They're like, do you want the trip computer or do you want the media information? That's
Or
all you get.
sometimes like one side is like almost you can't do anything with it at all. It's just
Yeah.
basically and or it's like a grayscale thing. I think Mazda's
Yeah.
very good at that in some of their older models.
This is not like that, and it lets you see everything, like change whatever you want over there. You could have the same information everywhere you want. I think that's so funny. It makes me laugh every time. I'm a child. I could look at my media information across 3 displays. It's great.
What was that vehicle where you could have like the turbo display, the boost on like literally 5 screens at once?
It
Was
feels
it-
like a Cadillac or something.
Or maybe the Jeep Grand Wagoneer? Maybe not.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can do a lot with the Wagoneer. You can put a lot of stuff on there.
1 million screens.
21 screens.
It is super, super refreshing to drive this because, as you mentioned, it feels like compact. Like this to me is peak compact car.
Really? I
Except
thought the Integra Type R was peak compact car.
You're
for you.
annoying.
That's what you told me.
That was sport compact.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Categories.
A 90s sport performance compact car. I think that this is a really good driving car. It's got 200 horsepower. It's got even more torque. I believe 280. Is that an insane? 230. Sorry, 230 horsepower. 230 pound-feet of torque. This thing gets up to I'll say like 50 miles per hour really quickly. Above highway speeds, above 60, it kind of like peters out, but it really feels impressive to get up to that speed. I really liked just the responsiveness of it.
You know what's funny about that is if you look back to the 70s, specifically like the mid to late 70s, early 80s, and you look at car magazines from that period, a lot of what's advertised for acceleration specs is 0 to 50.
0 to 50. This
Because,
feels
like,
really quick to 0 to 50.
I think there were a couple of reasons for that. One was the 55 mile an hour national speed limit. The
Mhm.
other was 0 to 60 was just too depressing.
This is not depressing. It's 6 seconds, which I think is pretty good
Okay.
for a compact car. It feels like they took a lot of the lessons in terms of like the drivability of the Civic Si, which is manual only.
Isn't
and
the SI disappearing for a while?
Probably.
I heard it was
that
gone.
doesn't
for next
sound
year.
unlikely. That sounds like a very possible thing that's happening.
Okay.
I think that they've distilled some of that personality into this car. It's a very eager car, especially when you put it in the sport mode. It pumps in this awfully fake engine note that my wife laughed at whenever I turned it on. It is a silly little car, and it does everything that you'd expect it to do. The problem is, a compact car should also feel kind of cheap and cheerful. This is kind of expensive. in terms of and serious. I think it's a bit expensive and serious.
What
in the way
makes
that
it serious?
it's expensive. It has all of these equipment, as I mentioned, all this technology, which I really like, but is kind of like filler at this class, right? You don't need heated seats and heated steering wheels for all of these things. You don't need a dual zone climate control system.
Can you? Is it not possible to order a model without that?
For the sport? I mean, I have a sport hybrid touring.
Okay.
So I have to see whether or not the climate control, for example, or all of these features, I think they come standard on both hybrid powertrains. And same with like okay, the wireless phone charger, for example, and the wireless Android Auto compatibility is exclusive to the higher trims.
Well, it's interesting because if you look at what Honda has done with a lot of their hybrid stuff, I do think it's not really possible to get base model hybrids anymore from them. It seems like they're reserved for mid to upper trim levels. And it's for some cars, I think like if you look at the Accord, just off the top of my head, you have like normal Accord, and then you have like hybrid Accord, and there's like a handoff there where you can't really get a high-end version of the normal Accord. And so you're in a world where entry-level cars are gas only and high-end cars are hybrid only. And I wonder if when the Ridgeline comes out, the new version of the Ridgeline, if we're going to see something similar for that.
Interesting. I love that you're thinking Ridgeline these days.
Oh,
you don't usually think about Ridgeline.
When am I not thinking Ridgeline? It's all Ridgeline.
All the time. You think there's going to be a Ridgeline passport? I mean, Ridgeline transport.
I mean, maybe.
Anyways, but this is the thing that bugs me about Honda is that they have the ability to design and engineer a really entertaining car, but they lock it behind this insane price point that I do not like. This is a car, the one in particular that I'm driving, starts at around $30,000. $33,000.
Is that metric dollars?
That is US dollars.
Okay.
Let me take a look at the Canadian pricing because we love talking to Canadians these days. I do, at least. I just introduced a new one to the world. What do you think of that?
We need them.
We need them.
More Canadians, the better.
Holy moly! They need to take a hike on this price. $40,677 in Canada.
So that's very close to the EV5.
I would take an EV5.
Wow.
Is that fair? Would
sure.
you?
Yeah, I think so.
I would. So that's where I'm like struggling. I also want to add that there's something about the performance and the characteristics of the Civic Sport Hybrid that are not found elsewhere in the product lineup. Maybe in this new Prelude, maybe we'll drive the Prelude and I'll find that. But essentially, this experience should be in a CRV in some way or another. And it's not.
What does that mean?
The CRV is lame to drive.
Okay.
It's not fun. It's not a warm hug.
So you're saying that the CRV should be more interesting, and it would be more interesting with this experience.
Yeah, it shows that Honda knows how to provide an interesting driving experience. But I understand that maybe a CRV owner doesn't want piped in fake engine noise into their car, maybe.
But to counter that, like, isn't a CRV considerably heavier?
Yeah, I guess so.
So that would probably have an impact, right?
What about that great car that we all love so much, the HRV?
I think that's a lost cause.
Imagine they fixed the HRV by putting the hybrid powertrain in it and then raised the price of it by like 10 grand or something.
Didn't they do that? Or is it just the turbo that they put in it? I think it's just the turbo.
They just put the Civic turbo.
Yeah. What a sad vehicle.
I drove this car very minimally. I really enjoyed everything about the Civic Sport Hybrid Touring, except for the price point, which I think is a little too high. I wish like you said, the hybrid in the US starts at $30,000. Again, not exactly like a bargain, in my opinion.
And the SI starts at 31.
I mean, again, is the manual shifter something that you would appreciate more than 50 miles per gallon? No.
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
That question. I do want to say you should be aware that there is a fuel cell EV version of the CRV available for
thank goodness,
50 grand, and it gets 61 MPGe. I don't know what that means.
I can't wait till they figure out their next generation of hybrids, because I think Honda does have some kind of credibility when it comes to the hybrid space. I just want them to figure it out beyond the Civic. I don't love it in the CRV. It's okay.
Getting back to the choice between manual transmission and hybrid fuel economy, the Civic sedan SI gets 27 city and 37 highway. The sedan hybrid gets 50 city and 47 highway. Yeah, but I just wanted to bring up the SI's numbers, which are like
double.
Yeah, very close to double when it comes to city, which is pretty nuts.
And I think you have almost the same driving experience. I feel that the steering is pretty nice in the Civic. Yes, there's no transmission, so you miss that kind of engagement, but the performance, that 0 to 60 is very nice. That responsiveness is really good.
The Type R is like even worse. It's 22 city, 28 highway. Compared to the SI, it's like 10 under 10 under on the highway. I wonder how much of that is drag from the weird arrow.
I also want to. That's all I really want to talk about with this car. Because like I said, I have a very limited. I had a very.
You've
limited
mostly
time
been
in
test driving the idea of being a 4-unit family. Then you have
yes, and I want to. Maybe we need to introduce a new feature to our podcast, which is, I believe, like I don't know if our listeners know, I have 2 cars in my garage. One is an Outback XT,
of course,
which I really like. But the other car is my Scion FRS, which is decidedly not a very family-friendly car. It is specifically a driver and one other person car, be it a passenger or child. The issue that I have had is that in the winter, there are days when my wife needs to drive the FRS, but is not comfortable, or needs to go to work, but is not comfortable driving the FRS in snowy conditions. She did not have as much experience driving in the snow and does not really want to do it in this performance car.
Shout out European upbringing.
Yes. And thinks that perhaps, me doing donuts with a child in the back seat or being stuck in a snowbank is not exactly an ideal situation to be in. So I've been researching all sorts of crazy cars that I will possibly be considering replacing the FRS with. And the idea to me, Ben, is that I want something that can carry some children, but still be fun to drive. It is the hardest thing to do.
Doesn't exist.
And I don't want it to be, I just don't want to get another Outback. And you can either go bigger than my Outback or smaller than my Outback.
You're running into that problem that evolution has run into where
everything becomes a crab.
Everything becomes a crab. There's been like 3 or 4 separate evolutionary trends towards carcinization. And I think that you've run into that with Outbacks where like
everything becomes an Outback.
Everything becomes an Outback.
Okay. So the first choice that is on my mind, that will possibly be on my mind in a year, is a Kia Stinger, which is available in Canada only as the 6-cylinder GT model with all-wheel drive.
No, there were 4 cylinders. They're out there.
I can't find them on the used car marketplace.
No, I don't think there were very many.
Okay. But I like this car because I think it has plenty of power. It has lots of space for like kid stuff, and I can put 2 kids in the back seat. The issue I have is potential reliability and costs associated with it.
And horrendous fuel mileage.
Probably, yeah. I drive mostly in the city, so I'm getting bad fuel mileage anyways.
The other thing to consider, though, is it will not be like your FRS whatsoever. It's like a grand touring car. I think that platform, there are 2 versions. There are 2 cars built on that platform.
Yeah, this is the other one. Is my wife is leaning towards more of the G70 with the manual.
The G70 is,
which is an insane thing to say.
Handles. My brother-in-law has a G70. He loves it. Mm-hmm. It handles much better than the Stinger. The Stinger is a cool car that I like, but it is a big grand touring car. It is surprising how much the weight informs the driving experience in that vehicle. Although it does have that cool hatchback, like you mentioned. I wouldn't get the manual version.
Do you think the rear seat space is different between the 2 cars?
It's a good question. I'm pretty sure the Stinger has a longer wheelbase, so I would say yes. Thought.
That's a weird thing to believe, but that's
I know that the 3 Series has a much bigger back seat than the G70. If that helps you at all. But like, I wouldn't get the manual. I would get the 6. Okay. It's much, in my opinion, it's a much better drivetrain. Unfortunately, I'm cool. I'm glad the manual exists, but that Turbo 4, the car was really meant for more power.
Okay. Well, if I have the budget for it, it might be in the cards. But the thing about these cars is, from what I can understand, Reliability has been pretty solid on these things, and that
It kind of sounds like you just want to buy a Stinger GT, and this conversation is
no. We've got. I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna have a new car every week. Just wait till you hear what I've got coming up next week.
The other thing, and we talked about this, you and I, is the idea that you will not be driving this car very often.
Yeah, there's this very weird use case that happens mostly in the winter, but sometimes our winters get really cruel, and the option would be for her to then just take an Uber to work, and I keep the Outback with kids.
It seems like that would be much less expensive to do.
But
I say this as someone who bought a Pathfinder that he drives 20 minutes a week.
Yeah.
And still has to insure and like register and do all that stuff. I could just take a taxi from like one fleet unit to one fleet location to another. So like, I hear you on irresponsible car decisions, but my Pathfinder was a fraction of
it's a tenth of what else meant.
Well, hopefully not a tenth, but yes.
Oh, well, true.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even buy the world's nicest Stinger.
I have many other ideas. I'm going to tell you about them next week.
We know you're going to end up with a 2-door Defender. We know that's where this is going.
We all know I'm just going to get a lowered Outback or a Legacy XD.
So people don't know this, but Sami hates lowered Outbacks. He hates the aesthetics. So whenever I see, I'm in a bunch of Subaru forums, and whenever I see one pop up, I always send him the picture.
And I respond with like a one word, like,
I know it will upset him. Like, I know like he's having a good day, and I'm like, here it comes. Here comes this lowered Outback, and they've removed the body cladding. And then like Sami's like, well, I'm just going to go sit by myself and stare into the distance.
If you want to send me or Ben more Outbacks or car ideas, or talk to us about our Civics or these unobtainium Kias that you can't get, I really recommend you head on over to our website, unnamedautomotivepodcast.com. While you're there, you fill out a contact form. It lands in our inbox, and we read it. Usually we read it on the air. Sometimes we read it to each other for sure, over the phone. like
one of our pillow parties.
Additionally, you can email us the old-fashioned way. It's benjamin@benjaminhunting.com. You can also reach out to us on Blue Sky. I'm at Sami dash. It's not the word dash. It's like that little symbol. On my keyboard, it's between the 0 and the equal sign.
Oh my goodness. We're doing keyboard geography now.
And you can find Ben on Blue Sky. He's at Hunting Benjamin. What are we talking about next week, Ben?
Next week, I'm going to be talking about a car that you mentioned briefly this week, the Subaru Trailseeker GT.
Neat. I'll be driving the Toyota 4Runner, which is the first time I think I've ever had it for a longer, like a full week-long test. And I'm really eager to see whether my wife will be eager to jump into. I'm eager to see if my wife will be able to jump into it after having a child. So that'll be fun.
So thank you for
jump, right? It's like you got to jump into this thing.
You got to get a little step ladder. That's the key.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, everybody.
Bye-bye.